10 genius garden lighting hacks you won't believe. So easy and cheap. Transform your garden at night. Hello, beautiful souls of earthly delights. If you're anything like me, you spend countless hours nurturing your little green kingdom, fussing over that trailing pothos, checking if your hydrangeas are finally blooming, or hunting for clever ways to make your garden look like something out of a dream. Maybe you're retired and finally have time to play in the dirt. Maybe you're a busy parent sneaking joy into stolen moments on the patio. Or maybe you just crave that peaceful evening glow to melt away the stress of modern life. Well, today I've got a treat for you. I'm about to reveal 10 genius garden lighting hacks so easy, so affordable, and so magical, your neighbors will honestly believe you hired a high-end landscape designer. We'll be using mason jars, mirrors, old wine bottles, and even clever tricks with solar lights, transforming your space from pretty by day to utterly enchanting by night. So grab a cozy drink, settle in, and don't forget to subscribe to Earthly Delights, because your garden journey is just getting started. 1. Painted solar stakes with hidden tricks. Alright, let's dive straight into our first piece of garden magic. Imagine this. As dusk settles, tiny glowing beacons appear all around your favorite flower beds, highlighting each bloom like a spotlight on a star. That's exactly what happens when you transform ordinary solar stakes with a touch of artistic flair. Now, I know many of you watching, whether you're seasoned plant parents, new homeowners dreaming of backyard escapes, or creative souls itching for a simple weekend project, you want that wow effect without spending a fortune. This little hack is perfect for you. Here's how it works. You take basic, inexpensive solar stakes, the kind you can pick up at almost any hardware store. But instead of just pushing them into the ground and calling it a day, we're going to paint them. Not just any paint either. Outdoor glow-in-the-dark paint, or even diluted acrylics in your favorite shades. During the day, these colors catch the sun, adding a playful twist. But when night falls, they come alive, softly glowing and casting subtle hues over your garden path. And here's a little pro tip from years of experimenting. Angle them slightly in different directions and vary the heights. It creates this dappled moonlight effect that dances across your plants, almost like nature itself is moving to its own quiet melody. Just picture relaxing on your patio, the air still warm, your garden bathed in these gentle lights, and feeling proud knowing you created this enchanting scene all by yourself. And trust me, this is only the beginning. Wait until you see what's next. 2. Mason jar luminaries reimagined. Now, let me take you a little deeper into this dreamy garden story with one of my absolute favorite tricks, mason jar luminaries. But with a stunning twist that I promise you've never tried quite like this. If you're the kind of person who loves pausing to admire dewdrops on leaves, or who carefully chooses flowers for the dining table, this hack will speak right to your heart. Because it doesn't just light up your garden, it lets your personality bloom right inside each jar. We'll start with those familiar mason jars, sturdy, charming, and probably sitting in your cupboard already. Sure, you could drop a tea light inside and be done. But why stop there when we can create miniature stained glass gardens? Here's how. First, line the inside of your jars with pressed dried flowers or delicate ferns. A tiny dab of clear glue holds them beautifully in place. Next, spoon in a little Epsom salt mixed with a drop or two of food coloring. It gives the glass a frosted, enchanted forest feel. Then, top each jar with a solar lid light. During the day, your jars look like sunlit botanical terrariums. At night, they glow from within, illuminating the flowers you so carefully placed, casting gentle colored shadows that dance across your garden beds. Imagine inviting a friend over for tea at dusk, and as the sun dips below the fence line, your garden slowly twinkles to life, each jar revealing a tiny masterpiece. That's the kind of simple joy that keeps us all out here, hands in the soil, hearts in the moment. And I've got an even more magical idea coming right up, so stay close. 3. Ice or gel lanterns for all seasons. Alright, my fellow garden dreamers, let's keep this magical evening rolling with something that feels almost too whimsical to be real. Lanterns made of ice. Or, if you live where summer doesn't let up, a clever little twist so you can enjoy the magic year-round. Picture this. Delicate lanterns that look like they've been plucked straight from a winter fairy tale, each one cradling tiny twinkling lights inside. If you live somewhere chilly, you can simply fill a balloon with water, drop in a small waterproof string of lights, tie it off, and let Mother Nature do her thing overnight. The next day, peel away the balloon, and voila! You've got an enchanting ice lantern with soft lights trapped inside, refracting and shimmering in ways that feel almost otherworldly. But what if you're in a place where summer stretches on forever? Don't worry, I've tested this myself. Try using clear gelatin or agar instead of water. It sets firm, holds your lights, and won't melt under a warm evening sky. For an extra surprise, nestle tiny air plants or bits of moss inside before it sets. People will lean in close, trying to figure out just what kind of magical orb you've created. Now, just imagine your patio or garden path lined with these glowing gems, each one softly illuminating the leaves and stones around it, creating pools of gentle light that seem to breathe and shift with the evening breeze. This isn't just garden lighting, it's a little slice of living art. And trust me, it only gets more enchanting from here. Wait until you see how we'll turn empty wine bottles into something truly spectacular next. 4. Wine Bottle Tiki Glow. Now let's drift deeper into this twilight adventure with something that feels both rustic and luxuriously elegant, turning your old wine bottles into glowing garden torches that look like they came straight from a designer's catalog. If you're like so many of us here on Earthly Delights, you probably have a quiet little stash of empty bottles waiting for some future craft project. Well, my friend, this is that project. Because nothing transforms a plain garden path into an intimate, inviting walkway quite like these. Start by giving your bottles a good wash, and then, for a dash of glamour, lightly spray the inside necks with a metallic paint. Gold, copper, even a deep forest green. Just enough so when the light shines through, it carries a rich, warm tint. Then fill each bottle with a handful of smooth river stones or coarse sand. Not only does it stabilize them, but it adds this earthy texture that feels so grounding. Now here comes the magic. Drop in a small string of battery or solar fairy lights, spiraling them loosely so some cluster at the base while others reach toward the top. When dusk arrives and you switch them on, each bottle becomes its own tiny lighthouse, casting soft, dappled light across your garden beds. Arrange a line of them to guide guests along a stone path, or cluster them in threes at the base of a climbing rose to create a dramatic focal point. Just picture the gentle glint off the glass as the breeze sways nearby leaves. It's pure poetry under the stars. And just wait until you see how we'll use tiny mirrors next to make a single light look like dozens. Stick with me, we're about to multiply the magic. 5. Magical mirror pebbles. Mini multipliers. Now let's slip into a bit of garden alchemy that's so simple, yet so dazzling, it almost feels like cheating. Imagine one tiny light suddenly blooming into dozens, all thanks to a clever trick with mirrored pebbles. This is perfect if you're one of those thoughtful gardeners who carefully positions every pot, every little statue, wanting each corner to surprise and delight. You see, most people think of big wall mirrors in the garden to bounce light around. But honestly, that can look a bit forced. Instead, I love to use small mirrored tiles or glass pebbles, the kind you find in craft stores or even left over from an old vase filler. All you have to do is glue these little mirrors onto the sides of large planters or around the rim of a raised bed. When evening falls and your nearby lights come on, each tiny mirror catches a glimmer and tosses it in a new direction. It's like your garden is suddenly sprinkled with tiny stars, each leaf catching and reflecting back little flashes of silver. And there's something deeply satisfying about this for the soul who finds magic in details, who loves pausing to notice how a droplet of dew glistens on a leaf tip. These mirror pebbles turn your humble backyard into a canvas of moving light. A simple solar stake nearby becomes amplified into a whole constellation dancing across your flower beds. Stay with me, because next we're going to take something as humble as a recycled tin can and turn it into a work of shadow art that will have your guests leaning in, utterly mesmerized. Let's keep weaving this nighttime story together. It's tin can pattern projectors with color play. All right, my fellow lovers of leafy retreats, now we arrive at one of my absolute favorite transformations. Taking something as plain and overlooked as a tin can and turning it into a glowing lantern that splashes breathtaking patterns across your garden walls. Just imagine, you're sitting out back with a cup of tea or a little evening glass of wine, and the fence beside you is suddenly alive with dancing shapes. Starbursts, spirals, even delicate floral silhouettes. All created by nothing more than a simple can and a bit of clever craft. Here's the magic. Freeze water inside your clean cans first. It'll keep them firm as you work. Then, using a small hammer and nail, carefully punch holes following a template. Maybe tiny constellations, swirling vines, or geometric motifs. Vary the sizes of your holes. That's the secret to adding depth, letting some beams of light shine boldly, while others whisper across the surface. Now tuck in a little LED light, or better yet, one of those color-changing bulbs. As it slowly shifts from soft amber to cool blue to lush green, your patterns seem to come alive, breathing in time with your garden. It's amazing how something destined for the recycling bin can become the star of your nighttime oasis. And it's even more special because it carries your personal touch. Guests will lean in close, trying to figure out how you pulled off such intricate shadow art. Smile, sip your drink, and let them marvel. Next, we'll slip beneath your pots for a bit of unexpected enchantment that truly makes plants glow from the inside out. Stick with me. This journey through garden magic is just getting better. 7. Hidden under pot lights. Now, lean in a little closer because this next trick is one of those delightful little secrets that even seasoned gardeners often overlook. It's like giving your favorite potted plants their very own stage to shine on. Quite literally. Picture this. Twilight has just fallen. A gentle breeze stirs the leaves, and suddenly your terracotta pots seem to glow from below. It's as if each plant is quietly radiating its own soft halo, standing proudly under a warm spotlight. And the best part? This enchanting effect is unbelievably easy to create. All you need are small waterproof puck lights or compact LED discs, the kind you can find for just a few dollars online. Slip one right underneath each pot, especially if it's slightly raised on feet or a plant stand. For clear or lightly glazed pots, the light softly filters through the ceramic or glass, creating an inner glow. For heavier clay or cement pots, it spills out from underneath, washing the surrounding ground and nearby foliage in gentle illumination. There's something almost magical about walking through your garden and seeing your favorite ferns, monsteras, or geraniums seemingly lit from within. It's subtle enough not to steal the show, yet so striking it turns even the simplest container garden into an evening masterpiece. Just imagine how it will feel the next time you step outside after dinner. Your plants gently glowing, inviting you to linger just a little longer in their calm, glowing company. And we're not done yet. Up next, we're going to make your bird bath or tiny pond sparkle like a living painting. Stay right there. This journey gets dreamier with every step. 8. Water feature light dance with moving shadows. Let's turn now to one of the most soul-soothing parts of any garden, water. Whether it's a grand koi pond, a humble bird bath, or even a large ceramic bowl tucked in the corner, adding light to water creates something truly hypnotic. And today, we're going to make that water shimmer, dance, and tell stories under the moonlight. This hack is all about placement and motion. You'll need a few submersible LED lights, the kind made for ponds or aquariums, and if possible, a tiny pump that gently circulates the water. The trick is not in creating a splashy fountain, but in crafting a subtle ripple that catches and bends the light just enough to bring the surface to life. Now drop in a few floating glass spheres or translucent pebbles. As the water moves, each of these elements refracts the light in different ways, casting soft, ever-changing patterns onto surrounding walls or plants. It's like watching a living painting unfold before your eyes. No 2 seconds look the same. I've seen people sit beside their lit-up bird baths in silence, captivated by the swirling reflections. There's something ancient and meditative about it, like watching firelight or the flicker of stars. If your days are filled with noise, this kind of quiet evening glow might just become your favorite part of the garden. And here's the best part. This works with almost any size water feature. No need for an expensive setup. Even a simple dish filled with stones and water can become a glowing oasis when lit just right. Ready for another layer of enchantment? Up next, we're going to hang fireflies from the air. Well, almost. Let's float upward together. 9. DIY firefly jars and hanging baskets. Now let's lift our eyes from the softly glowing ground and turn them skyward, because there's something undeniably magical about lights that hover and drift above us, almost like tiny fireflies caught mid-dance. This hack is especially dear to those of you who see your garden as more than just a space for plants. It's your retreat, your evening sanctuary, and you crave moments that make your guests pause, tilt their heads, and whisper, "How did they do that?" Here's how. Gather a few mason jars or delicate glass orbs. You can even reuse old candle holders. Fill them with tiny LED twinkle lights or micro fairy strands. Instead of setting them on the ground, suspend them from shepherd's hooks or sturdy tree branches at different heights. A cluster of 3 or 5, each glowing gently, creates the illusion that something alive is hovering in the dusk. Walk beneath them, and you'll notice how they sway just slightly with the evening breeze, sending playful little sparks of light dancing across your pathway or patio. It's soft, it's understated, yet it feels almost enchanted. This setup is perfect over a small outdoor dining table. Imagine enjoying a late dinner, warm plates in front of you, and above, these tiny glowing jars adding a sprinkle of starlight to your meal. It makes the simplest evening feel like a special celebration. And don't go anywhere, because our final hack is going to tie this entire luminous story together in a way that feels almost orchestrated by a professional designer. Stay close. We're about to create a garden that seems to breathe and change with the night. 10. Smart Timer Orchestra plus Color Seasons. And now, dear friends of Earthly Delights, we arrive at the final flourish. The secret that turns all these individual moments of light into one breathtaking, ever-changing symphony. Because what's better than creating a beautiful garden? Watching it slowly awaken and transform all by itself, night after night. This hack is all about using simple outdoor smart timers paired with multicolor LED bulbs if you like a little extra flair. Imagine your garden as a quiet stage. As the sun dips below the horizon, your pathway lights softly come alive, gently guiding the way. About 30 minutes later, those magical mason jars and hanging firefly orbs begin to glow, deepening the enchantment. And finally, an hour in, your water feature and tin can lanterns start their show, casting moving shadows and sparkling ripples that make the whole space pulse with life. And here's where it gets even more clever. Set different schedules for weekdays and weekends. Maybe on busy weeknights, your lights only run for 4 hours, but come Friday and Saturday, they stretch into the late evening, keeping you company under the stars. With multicolor LEDs, you can even match the mood to the season. Soft pastels in spring, golden ambers for cozy autumn nights, cool blues to offset summer's heat. There's something so satisfying in stepping outside and finding your garden already glowing to greet you, like it knows exactly when you need a peaceful retreat. And with all these layers working together, your space doesn't just light up. It tells a story that shifts and grows with every passing hour. But don't wander off just yet. Let's take one last stroll together through this illuminated paradise and see how it all beautifully comes together. A garden that comes alive after dark. So here we are, standing at the heart of your transformed haven. Can you see it? The gentle path lights guiding you along, the mason jars glowing like tiny stained glass lanterns, mirrored pebbles tossing sparkles into leafy corners, and tin cans casting intricate shadow plays that make your fences dance. Overhead, little jars hover like patient fireflies, while your water feature sends ripples of living light across every surface, all of it unfolding on its own, thanks to those clever timers, as if your garden has learned to breathe in rhythm with the setting sun. It's no longer just a patch of earth. It's a living, glowing story that changes hour by hour, season by season. And the best part? This masterpiece isn't reserved for lavish estates or professional designers. It's right here, made by your own hands, your creativity, your love for plants, and simple wonders. Thank you for sharing this journey with me on Earthly Delights. If you found inspiration here, subscribe and join our growing family of dreamers. Together, we'll keep turning humble gardens into magical escapes, one gentle light at a time.